GAMA is a quoting, rate management, and tracking platform that freight forwarders use to optimize their business operations, including margin management, and provide a complete online experience for their customers. GAMA modules are designed to integrate seamlessly with carriers, shippers, and forwarders, other systems such as the TMS, to create an easily accessible and central location for all shipment data. Forwarders and their shipper customers always maintain complete rate, cost, and tracking transparency of their entire shipping operations. To learn more about how GAMA is used by and benefits freight forwarders and their customers, we spoke to David Kadish, Director of Operations at Primors Worldwide. Primors is recognized as a technology-first freight forwarder and is headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. David and the Primors team provide full-service ocean freight, air freight, trucking, and express delivery solutions to customers globally. Primors customers easily transact their shipping operations online with no emails and no waiting for quotes or booking confirmations, thanks to GAMA. So David, I'm going to jump right in with my first question. There are a lot of freight forwarders who describe themselves as tech-enabled, but I wonder how true that is for most of them. Do you consider Primors to be ahead of most companies when it comes to using technology?
I'd say we are. A lot of companies that say they're tech-enabled, they're actually referring more to their internal processes, the back end that they use to book the shipments and track the shipments, and not as much forward-facing, which is really all the customer cares about, because they don't ever get to see what's going on behind the scenes. They want to see something in front of them, what's going on. And I'd say we're ahead because we have an interface that the customers can sign up for. They can get instant quotes. They can track their shipments. They can book their shipments. They can pay for their shipments, all right in front of them. They don't have to, go to our webpage and say contact us, and then send an email. I'm interested in shipping some pallets to Germany. Can you help me out? And then somebody has to get that email and answer that email. And after about 40 emails back and forth, maybe at that point you have some idea what it's going to cost you to send that pallet. Where for us, it's an instant process.
Could you clarify or maybe just expand on the idea of providing the best or the same rate per pallet for a small shipper as somebody who ships 100 pallets? So is that a business philosophy, or what?
Yeah, it is a business philosophy because customers, when a customer goes to want to move their freight, right, they're not going, I wonder where I am in the pecking chain of the freight forwarders, right? That might be the only pallet of widgets they've sold in the last 10 years to Germany, and they're so happy they finally sold one. They don't want to hear that it's $8,000 to send the pallet, or we don't want to talk to you because you're never going to ship again, so we're not just interested in your business. And our philosophy is, we treat the smallest shipper with the same urgency and the same pricing and the same respect as somebody who's shipping 7,000 pallets a month. And that's how you keep your customers, because the customers, it's just as important to them whether it's 1 pallet or 1,000 pallets. They don't want to hear, well, we're not interested in your business because you're too small.
So can you describe what technologies you use to support your internal operations and also your customers?
So for our forward-facing technology, we use a product called GAMA that basically integrates everything. It's API integrated to all the carrier rates. It's API integrated to all the tracking for the LTL, the air, the ocean. So when you want to talk about what our customers would see, they would be looking at GAMA when they see that on the front end. The back end, we use Magaya and QuickBooks, and there's other programs we use to generate airway bills, generate invoices, etc. But the customers would never see any of that. So GAMA is definitely the forward-facing component.
So what are the main benefits to your internal operation from technology?
Well, it reduces the workload. I mean, the technology replaces 4 or 5 people, or maybe more. It just depends which part of the technology you're talking about. But the old way, you had somebody that was physically doing every step. I mean, they were entering the invoices, or they were generating the airway bills, or they're generating the quotes, or they're booking the shipment with a carrier. And 95% of that is automated now with our technology. So it makes it quicker. It's less prone to error. It's very cost effective. It enables medium, especially small size forwarders to compete on the level playing field with larger forwarders. The advantage the larger forwarders have, of course, is even if they don't have technology, they have prices. Okay.
Right.
So customers are concerned about a few different things. It's not always in this order, but it's price, performance, customer service. And it may be customer service is number one, price is third, or is in the middle. But the problem is if you don't have an advantage in any of them, you don't have any advantage. So sometimes you don't always have the best price, but because you have the technology, you have the excellent customer service and the excellent tracking systems, and they can overlook the fact maybe they paid 3 or 4% more because they're not sending 100 emails a day or making phone calls to find out where's my freight, what's going on with my shipment, which is very, very frustrating. You can get the best price in the world, and if after that you have absolutely no follow-up and no customer service, you regret it. You'd rather have paid more because you got nothing.
So are you able to quantify the time and cost savings from using technology?
Well, with GAMA, just as an example, an LTL shipment probably used to take 35 to 40 minutes to book with a LTL carrier. As you know, there's 20 or 30 to 40 LTL carriers in the U.S. There's lots. So when you decide which one you're going to use, you have to generate BOLs and labels, book the pickup with a carrier, and this is all can be a very manual process. With GAMA, it's pretty much one click of the mouse because the customer's already entered all the pickup details, the shipment details, gotten the quote, booked the quote, paid for the quote. So all we're doing is sending it via API to the LTL carrier to get it booked. And that process, so you save 35 or 40 minutes just like each shipment.
So then what are the main benefits to your customers from your technology?
I think the real big benefit to the customers is just the instant capability to get a quote. A lot of customers, they start on Google, they go, I need to ship air freight, and it brings up all kinds of, freight forwarders, companies, websites, you name it. And a lot of them are not tech enabled. They're still going to have to find a contact link, send an email. Meanwhile, they have 20 emails they sent, and they're waiting to get 20 emails back at some point, and then compare all the prices, whatever. Our forward-facing system, for example, air freight, if they had a pallet they needed to send from the U.S. to Japan, they would enter the details, and it would give them the rate for 25 or 30 different air carriers instantly. Etihad, Delta, Qatar, United, American, and they could just choose which one they wanted based on transit times, cost, and book it right there. And pretty much they're done at that point.
You mentioned Magaya. Any other systems, internal systems you have? What's the process been, or how was it difficult to get these different systems to talk?
For us, it probably wasn't too difficult because we were not heavily ingrained in a lot of these other systems that we integrated. I will say, for a forwarder who's been in business or has been using back-end technology for a long time, GAMA is capable of integrating with all of them. Whether somebody has done it yet or not, you'd have to get with GAMA on that. I'm sure that it can be integrated. I would probably say, the larger that system is and the longer it's been residing on that server, if it's running on Windows 7 or something like that, from years ago, it's going to get more complicated. And I always say it's difficult to teach an old dog new tricks, but the thing is, once you do it, you'll never want to go back. The problem is there is going to be some growing pains and some stumbles along the way as you integrate, but it's well worth it. The end result is well worth it. The other advantage of the technology is that it helps customers with urgent shipments. If you're shipping ocean and you wait 3 days for an email, it's probably not the end of the world because a container is going to take 45 to 60 days to get there anyway when you ship it. If you're shipping an air freight or even express, it could have already been picked up and been delivered. Okay. So we tend to attract more customers shipping air and express because once they realize the benefits of the instant technology, that's who it really benefits. Is you can't afford to lose a week when the shipment only takes 4 days once it's picked up.
Yep. And so one thing that it's my understanding is a little bit unique about GAMA is the ability to do express shipments. Or when you say express, is that kind of the same as parcel, or are those two different things?
Yeah, no, it's parcel. Express is DHL, FedEx, UPS. The difference being that express services are already door-to-door integrated with the express carrier, and air freight is segmented between somebody picking it up at the origin airport, bringing it to the airline flying it to the destination airport, somebody clearing and picking it up at the destination airport, delivering it. So it's a three-leg process versus when you ship express, DHL, UPS, FedEx, it's a single stop. They do the pickup, the transit, the delivery, everything.
So what is the feedback you get from clients about your technology, such as what features they like specifically or get the most use out of?
I think what really they get the most use out of is the first part of the technology, which is a quoting system, because a lot of customers, they may be trying to sell something to another country, and that other country says, well, I want to know how much it's going to cost delivered. Well, how are you going to know how much it costs delivered if you don't know what the shipping costs? So a lot of them will be using the quoting initially to make their sales because they need to add that cost in, and they can get that instantly. They don't. You might lose the sale if that customer in the other country says, I'm interested, but I got another person offering it for this much. How much is yours? And it takes you 4 days to get the price back. They'll just go buy the other one, and you lost the sale. Whereas they log in and they say, hey, I can instantly see express, air, ocean, LTL, get a price immediately, add it to my quote to the customer. And most of them come back, a week later, 10 days later, hey, we just closed the sale. We need to move the shipment. And the quote's still in there. All they have to do is just update it and then book it.
Gotcha. Okay. There's a lot of talk or promises about real-time tracking and knowing the location of shipments. What's your your genuine response here? What's your opinion about real-time tracking? Is it realistic? Can it happen, or are you too beholden to kind of the carriers to get that information?
Well, it's realistic in the sense that I could tell you, as an example, what house the freight is in, but I can't tell you what room in the house. Okay. And people expect sometimes to be told the ship is at latitude this, longitude that, your container is number 20 on the top deck, 3 rows down. I mean, that's, people want to pinpoint it down to like that, and it really doesn't operate that way. It tells you it's on the ship. The ship is scheduled to depart on 10 September. Then it'll say the ship has departed 10 September. It's en route from Germany to Long Beach, like that. So that is beneficial because at least you're not getting emails and phone calls. Didn't leave yet, didn't leave yet, didn't leave yet, right? But to certain types of shipments can be narrowed down more. Ocean, not as much as air, not as much as express, where they could tell you where your box is at. So it just depends what mode of transport you're using. And of course, the technology is only as good as the technology the carrier is providing. So if you happen to use an LTL provider that doesn't track their trucks very well and doesn't really update their systems to say the truck departed Atlanta, it's on its way to Tennessee, like that, well, it doesn't matter what technology you have, you're not going to be able to integrate anything because there's nothing to integrate.
Are there ways that your technology helps your operations that customers maybe do not see?
Oh, definitely. Once they quote and book in there, they don't see the back end of the GAMA system that sends all the data to our accounting programs, to the carriers, to book the shipments, to generate the invoices, to schedule the pickups. I mean, that's all invisible to them. All they know is they booked it, paid for it, and then it got picked up. So it's not a two-sided process where the front-facing side operates completely separately from the back-facing side. They're integrated together. So about 95% of it's automated. There's always manual stuff that you can't automate, but uh, basically, we don't have to redo all the work from what the customer put in. It's automatically transferred to the backside so we can send it to the carriers.